This is the plaintiff, Kyla Coley. She says she brought a wig to the defendant so she could apply it to her head, and the woman ruined it. She put some kind of oily substance in it to style it. The wig disintegrated, and the rude woman's refusing to pay her for a new one. Some people. She's suing for $350, the cost of a new wig. This is the defendant, Diamond. She says the plaintiff's a pretty big Instagram model, and she hired her to style a wig she wanted to showcase. The wig was in very bad shape when she brought it to her, and it was overplucked and nappy. She did her best to make it look good. The plaintiff was happy when she left, and now she wants a new wig from her, claiming she used some kind of oil on the wig? Preposterous. She's accused of giving a model a bad hair day.
All parties, please get your right hands. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Cooley, you're suing Ms. Diamond for $350, the cost of a wig you say she ruined. What happened?
So basically on December 3rd, I went to get my hair done by her, and I bought a wig that I got in November. And when she installed it, she put some oil on it, and before I left, I had asked her, usually I put either mousse or water on like curly hair, and I had asked her, I usually don't put this oil on my hair, and she said it was gonna dry up when I got home. So when I got home, I noticed that it didn't dry. That's when I took the pictures, and I texted her, and I told her, I said that it didn't dry. I texted her on Instagram, and I said I don't like how it looked. It don't look right. The texture is not the same. And I had called her because she didn't answer, so she was saying that I can come back and get my hair done. And I also told her that it was plucked too much, it was plucked too much. It was a bald spot as well on the wig. And at first I didn't remember if she washed my hair, but I went back into my Uber receipts and I did go back and forth to her house. So when I went, she did wash my hair. She washed the wig, but the oil did not come out of it. The texture was messed up. It was completely ruined by then. The oil destroyed the texture of the wig. I remember her saying that she wished she had a certain type of hair wash, like a shampoo wash, for it to come out. She did mention that because she didn't have the right shampoo for it to the texture to come back to how it was. So I left and got the more hair. I got a frontal and the tracks that I had, and I went back to her hair for her to put that in my hair instead, because the wig was completely ruined. She couldn't redo that wig. She couldn't re-put it in my head. At that point, I had to get different hair in my head. And she bleached the front, the two streaks of it. That was fine. But still,
She didn't charge you for any of that, right?
No, she didn't charge me for that.
And then you say to her, what are we going to do about the wig being messed up? And what does she say?
She said, I have wigs coming in, and she said about January 21st. I was too sure if it was January 21st or January 23rd. I just know it was around that time period. And
how much later would that have been from the time that you went there?
That's a month and a half.
Okay. And
December
then what
3rd.
happens in January?
So when January come, I text her and I asked her, did it come in? And she was just basically no, it didn't come in. But mind you, I had to constantly text her on Facebook, on Instagram, from 2 different social media accounts I had to text her from, and she wasn't responding back. I had to constantly text her more than once for the wig. And she responded back and told me that it was gonna come sometime, I think, in February. And when I messaged her in February about it, she said, oh, she's not in town, which I had to constantly text her again to get her attention.
Can I ask you something? You submitted some pictures, and I'm trying to figure out what pictures show what. Where is the wig? In the front, in the back? Where's the wig? A whole head?
Wig in the front. Yeah, that's the front. Yeah, the front. That was in November when I first put it on.
Do you have the receipt from the wig in November?
No, I don't have the receipt.
So how do you come up? How are you going to prove $350?
Well, I do have the receipts in my bank statement of a wig, but I didn't send that in.
First of all, what you did was you sent the screenshot of a wig off the internet, and it's $250. So where do you come up with the $350? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Ms. Diamond, I want to talk to you. What exactly did you do for her that day?
She brought me the wig. Once she pulled it out of the bag, it was very tangled and over bleached. So all I did was wet it, detangle it, sat it under the dryer. It didn't have much texture after it was under the dryer. So once I put it on her head, pulled the baby hairs that was already cut down and like laid it down, I put it up in a half down and I sprayed it with some curling refresher spray and some oil sheen just to give it that look as like it was fresh. But the way the hair was over bleached from the last install, I couldn't cover that. I couldn't fix that. That wasn't my problem because the wig she brought me was used and it was already cut. So I just basically put it on and put the style back that she had.
Well,
So
but according to
I couldn't
her,
do
she
so.
leaves, she mentions to you, hey, this looks really greasy when she leaves there. And you
Mhm.
tell her, don't worry, that'll calm down later. Did that happen?
Yes, because when she left, her hair was soaking wet.
And then according to her, this is how she left. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, because it
Yes.
does look kind of greasy.
Yeah, it's greasy because I used a wax stick to like kind of hold it up into the half up, half down without using too much holding spray. So she would be able to use it again if she decides to. But if you look on the side there, it's really over bleached. And the front is the bald spot she was talking about. That's just the over bleachedness. I didn't pluck the wig at all. I just pulled the baby hairs that was already cut down.
And is this the second wig that you put in?
No, that was a reinstallment I did for her a couple months prior to this incident.
Okay. What are you trying to show me in this picture, Ms. Coley? Because you're the one who introduced this into evidence. What am I supposed to be seeing?
Okay, so in the screenshot, she mentioned that she colored hair for me for free. Keep in mind that I paid for the install. I paid for the wig install. Just still, I still paid my money, my 140. I still paid for the wig install. But that was when I accidentally took a picture at her house because she said that she colored a wig for me. She said I even colored your hair, but she bleached the front of it. That's two streaks that's in front of it. That's not color. So that's what basically I was trying to show, that she never bleached colored anything. She just bleached two streaks in the front.
I need to see a receipt for that wig to know how many times it was used and potentially plucked and abused and bleached and blah, 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 all the other things that can be done to that wig. I need to see a receipt for that wig. Do you have a receipt for that wig?
Yeah, I have a transaction in my bank statement of it. I do. But on November, when I had it in my hair, the first time I put it on my head, it did not look like that. I had to go to work. Why would I waste my time? I had a whole shoot for a photo shoot. Why would I waste my time if putting a messed up wig back in my head? Like, it makes no sense. Why would I waste my time putting a messed up wig back in my head? And then I had to reschedule.
Right. I need to know the
reschedule my whole
value
shoot.
of
Why
the
would
wig, and I need to know, and part of the way a judge assesses the value of something is they depreciate it over time. So I would need to see when the wig was purchased, how old it was, so that I could guesstimate how many times you'd been using it and how many times. I mean, you know, that's kind of, it's just, you know, the depreciated value of a wig is a difficult thing to come by, but it kind of helps if you have a receipt. And then why are you, Ms. Diamond, telling her that you're going to replace her wig if you don't feel like you did anything wrong? Tell me that.
Okay, so the conversation we had was that she either gets $70 back for the first install, that's half of it, or I just give her a wig. And I thought about it as like free promotion because she's a Instagram model. She has a lot of followers. So she's gonna post a picture. I can use that as, oh, this is my 30-inch body wave wig or whatever. And I was gonna use it as that. But when I seen that she was blaming me for all the other damages like over plucking it, bleaching it, and all of that, I didn't do any of that. When you come to me for a reinstall, your hair should already be plucked, bleached, and everything. I'm only putting it on, gluing it on, pulling out the baby hairs, and putting it in the style that you want. That's all.
So, okay, so why did you tell her that you'd give her a wig?
I told her that because she was like basically coming at me, telling me, oh, you damaged my wig. And I'm telling her like I didn't. She was just like, oh, I have to work and all this other stuff. So I just told her that I would give her the wig in replacement of her feeling like that. And I thought about it as free promotion.
Customer
I wasn't thinking about it as like, yeah, like she's not a stranger. I know her. So I wasn't even thinking about it that way. But me personally, I know I didn't destroy her wig because when she got here, it was very nappy. I had to soak it in order to even detangle it or get through it. So the texture was damaged already when she got here because the wig was so old.
Right, but like, look, what do you do for a living, Ms. Coley?
Well, I'm a model. I have several, like, I get booked a lot for like video shoots and like photo shoots and gig with bartending. So like I had a gig, and for that day I had to reschedule my photo shoot.
I
Mind
mean,
you, it was in
when
New
you
York,
say, Ms.
so
Diamond, when you say, oh, the thing was trash when it got here, then why install it? I mean, and why would she, who's so into her appearance, with the pictures and the thing and the whole social media stuff, why would she bring you? She makes a point when she says, oh, it's that big of a wreck, and yet we're both willing to install it. What say you to that?
Honestly, I've seen worse wigs. So when she showed me, I didn't even really think about it as like a really damaged wig because I know how to fix it. It just wasn't fixed to her liking.
I feel like I wouldn't have wasted my time. Like, if you look up a water wave 30-inch wig, that's very expensive. Why would you
I don't
give
know
me
how
a free
expensive it
pay
is
all
because
that
your
money?
evidence is all over the
Why would you
map
pay all that
and
money for
non-existent.
me?
You don't have the receipt. What you gave us was a
No.
$258 wig, and you're asking for $350. Did you agree that you did put oil into it, right, Ms. Diamond?
Yes.
And her complaint is the oil didn't dry up or go away or get soaked in or get absorbed or anything else. It just stayed oily. And what's your answer to that?
Honestly, when she came back for the second day, I was willing to wash the wig out. The shampoo I use is a clarifying shampoo. It strips the hair of completely everything. So when I came back in the living room and showed her the wig, she was rubbing her hands through it, saying that she still didn't like the texture and she didn't even want to install it back in her head. So me not washing out the product is not true. I washed out all the product and I showed her the wig after.
Do you have a picture? Did you take a picture of the wig before you gave it back to her? Ms.
No,
Diamond?
I didn't.
Do you have
I didn't.
what did you do with the wig, Miss Cooley?
It's gone. I threw it out.
You threw it out. All right. Did you take a picture of it before you threw it out?
No, because after she washed it, when I got home to get the new hair, I just threw it out.
Why did you throw it out, though? If you're going to file a lawsuit over it, you didn't think maybe the judge would want to see it?
Because I didn't know, because I thought she was going to give me a new wig. That's why. And my point is, why would you give somebody a 30-inch free wig for free if you did not do anything to their wig?
Well, there are reasons why. Somebody might want to have their hashtag on your Instagram account. There are customer service reasons why. Based on what I'm hearing, I believe that something more than an install was done to the wig. Because you're telling me yourself that you put product and oils and whatever else. But this proof of $350 for the wig, you're way off on that. You don't have anything remotely approaching proof that it's worth $350. So I'm going to do a little what, Douglas?
It's
your
like
time. It's your
my
time to shine, Douglas.
There we go. We're going to do a little bit of rough justice.
There you go. I love the way he says that. And I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff and the amount of $100. That's my verdict.
Wow, rough justice was not good for the plaintiff. She's only going to get $100. She wanted $350. Let's see what she thinks about that. Ms. Coley, you're only getting $100. What's your reaction?
At the end of the day, at least I handled it the right way, and it didn't go further than what it was.
Well, Ms. Diamond, I know you wanted to do her hair because she is a kind of a star, but she's not happy, so she's not coming back. How about that? How do you feel about that?
I'm fine with it. Honestly, I hope she doesn't come back.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for the case, and good enough for you. If you're happy and you're semi-happy, I guess that'll do it. Harvey, interesting case. What do you think?
You know, Doug, the judges talk from time to time about rough justice. I just want to spend a second talking about what that means. That when you go into a court, a bigger court, let's say you're suing for $1 million, you have to prove your damages to the penny. In small claims court, a lot of times in a lot of states, provisions are made knowing that these litigants are not lawyers and they can't necessarily come up with all the precise things that you would need in a different kind of court. And that's why the judge talks about rough justice. And it may involve actually eyeballing what a problem is and figuring out how much it would cost to fix. And it's rough, but it's fair.
Doctors and nurses are required to do ongoing continuing education in their fields. Do judges have to do it as well?
Unfortunately. Or
Fortunately.
fortunately, let's say for the average person out there who has to subject themselves to the whims of a judge.
Yes.
Yes, they have to do continuing judicial education, CJE we call it in Florida, and it means you have to go and keep up on changes in the law, exchange viewpoints with your colleagues at conferences and in discussions, and hopefully keep up with the constant changes that are taking place.
Right. So you end up traveling to a judicial conference somewhere, meeting judges from other parts of the state.
Yeah, they combine it with a little junket.
Combine a little golf, a little this, a little that. Yeah, and yeah. Yeah, no, they actually really were educational. I used to always feel very energized when we came back.
Terrific.
They're very good. In fact, I taught at them for a while.
You have taught
towards
them.
the end at New Judges College.
Right. I remember when I was going to go to my first one, you spoke to the godfather of one of our daughters, who's a judge also, about going there. What did you say?
He had when he first became a judge. I had been a judge for a while. He became a judge. And then we went to a piano bar during one of these conferences, and everybody's singing at the piano bar, and I'm like,
a wonderful time.
Bob, why won't you sing?
Right.
And he said, no. Why? Because if you sing, you get thirsty. If you get thirsty, you drink. If you drink, you're unfaithful, and I don't want to be unfaithful. I'm like, dude, you just went from 0 to 100 really fast. You'd have to find somebody willing to take you home, all right? So I don't know what you're talking about. You should be singing with us. It was this big running joke for years until you became a judge. And you went on your first judicial conference.
I think it was in Orlando, right?
That's right. And then I called Bob, and I said, Bob, remember all that stuff I said a few years ago? Forget all of that. John doesn't get to sing. You know?
Don't let him go to the piano bar.
Don't let him go to the piano bar. Don't let him sing.
You have nothing to worry about, Marilyn.